Jen, it's so good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you too.
I'm really excited to speak with you. You've been one of my star clients who just dove in with both feet, and you were just so coachable. And I would love for you to share today just, how you were feeling before and then how you're feeling after we started working together.
Yes. So what sort of motivated me to seek out something to help was just I was experiencing just a lot of just a vague unwellness, like just not being able to concentrate on work, feeling kind of tired during the day. I was feeling like my sleep quality was probably not that great. I was experiencing some night sweats, which were not nearly as severe as some friends of mine and people I've heard, but they were, I think, severe enough that they were disrupting my sleep, which was just having a cascade effect sort of in other parts of my life. And then there were other things digestively that didn't even link to any of the things that we ended up addressing in the program. But looking back now, there was that as well, just some digestive disruption that was also having an impact on my life. So it was really just wanting to be able to be present in work and be awake enough to be able to do things with my friends and family and all of that.
I want to acknowledge you because what you described, for some women, they don't connect it to perimenopause. So did you connect those things for yourself?
Started seeing a lot of perimenopause oriented. That was where I started to make the connection with like the sleep and the brain fog. Because at first the night sweats, I thought, well, yeah, this seems like a thing, but it's not that bad. But then kind of learning that sort of that broader constellation of problems could be connected kind of made it click for me. And that this is a whole thing and it might get worse over the next few years. So
Yeah.
let's figure out what we can do.
Well, and addressing that because you got ahead of this. And for many women, they think, well, it might get better. And they're not sure that as many perimenopause. They want to make sure. So when you recognized how poor your sleep was and how tired you were, that you knew you had to address this soon because of the prospective problems that you would have without good sleep.
It was just something that I kind of sensed. Like I had never really been a napper and I was just starting to have these times of day where I was like, I can't do anything else. And I just feel like I want to sleep, which is not, and I don't feel great after a nap often. And so then that's not really helping. And it was just, yeah, just like the inability to really just function in my days to like at a level that I was used to.
And how was this fatigue and fogginess affecting you at work?
Just general lack of productivity. Like a lot of times where I'm sitting at my desk and I'm like, I don't know, I've got a whole list of things to do and I can't decide what to do. And I get sort of distracted for one, like easily distracted, more difficulty being a good listener. And then just general, just like motivation to get a task done was all sort of things I was experiencing.
Would you say that you were enjoying yourself less at work because of all of these things?
Definitely. I was very much just in a state where it was just enough to like get the bare minimum of things that I needed to be doing done, versus, I'm in sort of a science oriented field and we're supposed to be interested in sort of new directions and where new science is happening. And I just didn't have the capacity to even really think about anything that wasn't exactly what needed to be done for my job in the moment.
Personally, you have a lot of interests. And tell us how that was getting in the way, just of you enjoying your life socially and.
Yep. So my husband and I recently started doing ballroom dance as a hobby together. And so that's been fun because that's gotten us out of the house and gotten us some more physical activity. And it's just one of those things where you start to be just more aware of your body and what you look like in certain clothes and how you're able to function and move. And there were just certain things about sort of the weight I was at and how flexible I was and just all of that was sort of becoming like a barrier for that hobby being, because once you're better at it, it's a little more fun. So kind of that side of things.
You jumped in 100%. You knew a lot and you were like, I'm going to follow this to the letter. So tell us, within a couple of weeks, what were some of the first things that you noticed?
So I almost immediately stopped having night sweats, which was really surprising to me, like, because it seemed like such little changes that we were doing that I didn't think that it could have possibly had enough of an impact on how I was sleeping and other aspects of my body functioning for it to happen that quickly. But I've almost completely stopped having night sweats. My sleep was improved gradually, like it was. And so it was really that trend started, and it was gradual, but it started right at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after, 7, 8, how are you feeling in terms of your energy, in terms of your overall productivity?
I'm feeling really good now. My days are really productive. I don't even get up to pee in the middle of the night most nights, which I thought would be unheard of. I'm able to, fall asleep fairly quickly at night, get out of bed in the morning and go about my activities. I haven't had to take a nap. But otherwise, things have been feeling really good. My digestion has been really good, better than it's been in a long time.
It sounds like the improvement in digestion was surprising because this is something, as you said, that you've been dealing with for a long time. And you start to improve your life in terms of your health and your sleep and your energy. The body, really, everything's working together and your body heals.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing to experience. And then it was sort of like self-motivating, and that you sort of like self-perpetuate a whole cycle of, once you start to see how it all connects together, it's just so more motivating to keep up some of those behaviors and make the choices that will help you feel better once everything is more intricately tied together. I feel more like, well, I'm just making this choice because I'll feel better. And I don't know what it was about the whole rest of my life beforehand that I didn't have that mindset of it, but it's just so much easier to do when it's all connected, and then you just choose what to do.
I remember when we spoke, you had been doing like random things, like piecemeal, and like the latest shiny object that would pop up. I think some supplements and this and that. And when did you realize that that just wasn't going to work and you needed more support?
I mean, I don't think I fully did realize it. I think I just kind of had that moment where I had that day where I just had really bad night sweats, and my period just started full blast, which it never does, and just like had a really bad night of sleep and just had a really terrible day. And I was like, all right, we're just going to do whatever it takes now. And I will let someone just tell me what to do, because clearly my sampling the internet and of information is not helping. And so maybe just an actual cohesive program will help.
Well, I'm so glad you took my hand. I speak with some women and they're telling me that, they've been researching an hour or more a night for 6 months. And they're still trying things little by little. So what would you say to a woman who says, I'm just going to figure this out on my own? It's not that bad. And
I would say it's very great to just take that burden off of yourself and just let someone who has the experience of, having worked with so many people and figured out what does work, to just tell you what to do. Like, even though I'm not a person who in most aspects of life likes being told what to do, when it comes to certain things, it's just not having to make a decision and not having to figure it out. Like, just having something laid out in front of you that gives you a map of what to do it's definitely worth it.
getting back to like your enjoyment of your dancing, and how are you feeling now when you're dancing and in terms of how you're feeling in your body and your energy?
Very good. They like added another class on Saturdays, and so now we're doing like 3 classes in a row. And so definitely the stamina to be able to do the amount of things that are available to us is there. We're having a lot more fun. It's a little easier to start doing some of the more advanced technique as your body's functioning better. And definitely, I have actually lost a little bit of weight, even though that wasn't like an actual active goal of mine while we were doing the program. It just happened. And so that's been nice as well. So I can wear some of the cuter outfits, things.
I love that. So again, you got ahead of this, and I say to so many women, and they're like, "Well, it's just starting, and it's not going to be that bad." What I share is like, the sooner you can start, the more you're going to keep the worst symptoms at bay. Like you said, you heard that your friends have like really bad night sweats, and for a lot of women, they're like, my friend is XYZ. She's, having to change her sheets twice a night. It's not really that bad. So is there something else that you could, for a woman who is struggling in terms of time or the investment, what would you say to?
I think it's still definitely worth catching it early, because definitely, I mean, perimenopause can last 10 years. And so it could be a long time that you're putting up with it. And then during the course of the program, we experienced a family emergency situation where I did sort of abandon everything and kind of go back, not even go back to my old ways, but like a more extreme level of just a lot of unhealthy behaviors. And I experienced my first actual daytime hot flash during that. And thankfully that's the only one I had, but it just kind of showed that regressing back into all of those behaviors just sort of let all of those things come back. But it was amazing how quickly within like a week or two of being back home and being back on my routines and back into, sort of what we had been working on, that things were getting back to my new normal of not having those problems.
Did it surprise you that simply making lifestyle changes without having to do an RX or a hormone replacement, you didn't need to do that?
Yeah, I pretty much thought that like if you're having symptoms like night sweats, I would have thought that would have been the only case, is that you'd have to start hormone therapy to deal with them. Probably tried a good number of them, then just never managed to like put it together into like a lifestyle that felt easy to do. But it really helps to have it all together. Like there was some sort of mind shift that happened that I just didn't expect was possible for me. I'm just kind of like a resistant person in general. like I just didn't think that would happen and that it would have such an effect.
You were really coachable, and you took my hand and you trusted in the process. And it can be a big leap to decide to do that. And if it's possible for Jen, it's possible for you. That was Jen's first step in having a breakthrough call. And we got really clear about what's been happening in your life, how it's impacting your life, and a step-by-step plan to help you feel great. So I'm thrilled to see you looking so bright and things are going so well. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone.